Hey everyone, it's Holly and I'm here with another Tuesday Talks video, and Tuesday Talks is a Goodreads group, which I'll leave a link to the Goodreads group down in the description box below in case you want to check it out. And this week's topic is to talk about your favorite couples or love stories. And I of course love romance, so I have a ton of favorite couples and love stories, and that's like my favorite thing to read. I love them. I just love the satisfaction of, or I guess I should say, I love romance. Like Sarah Wendell on Smart Bitches Trashy Books and the DBSA podcast talks about the difference between a romance and a love story, where a romance, the story ends happily every time. A love story, it could go either way. But I don't think that's what, I don't think this topic was meant to go that deep. But so technically I like romances. I like my books to end happily. I know some people say like that's not how life is, but I'm not going to get into that argument, but it makes me happy to read stories that end happily. So I kind of thought this would just be a nice opportunity to talk about 3 of my favorite stories. 2 of them are definitely ones I go back to when I kind of like pick me up, and they're some of my favorite couples. And then the other one is a newer one, but I definitely love them just as much. And I'm not going to talk about Blue-Eyed Devil by Lisa Kleypas because I feel like I talk about that enough. So 2 are romance novels. So the first one, which is a newer one, is The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie by Jennifer Ashley. And I've only read this once. I want to reread it so much. I just read it last year. I read it as an ebook actually, and then bought the physical copy as well. And I just love Ian and Beth. I think their story is beautiful. Ian suffers, this is a historical romance, but he suffers basically from like Asperger's, like he has autism. And I've talked about this before, I just love the idea that anyone can be loved and have love and everything like that. And I think their story is beautiful. It's a little different for a historical, or at least for me. It makes me feel so happy when I read the other books in the series. I love seeing them. They're like my favorite couple. Then my other is The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. This is one of her Bridgerton books. I think it's the second one after, is it going to tell me? Yes, it's the second one after The Duke and I. And this is Anthony's story, and the woman's name is Kate. This is definitely like an antagonistic romance, but it's super cute. It's just so well done. It's definitely a book I find myself constantly drawn to and wanting to reread, and I love their story, and I love them as a couple. They're so amazing. I like couples that are very real, I guess, like who kind of, when authors aren't afraid to make them not perfect, like they argue and they have conversations and they have a combative relationship, but not in an unhealthy way. And I think that's very natural, and I don't think love takes away the other parts of your personality, and sometimes in love stories or romances you can see that. And this is a great example of a couple where that doesn't happen. And then the last one is a young adult story, and that is Crash Into You by Katie McGarry. I just love this story so much. I love Rachel, Isaiah, and I think I've said this before, I was not the biggest fan of Isaiah before reading this book, but I fell in love with him. I think their story is beautiful. I definitely like class difference romances. I've talked about that before, and this is a spectacularly well done, especially for YA. I think their story is beautiful. I connect with Rachel in a lot of ways. I love seeing their story. It's definitely an emotional one, but it always makes me feel so happy inside. And so those are some of my favorite couples and my favorite romances or love stories. If you want to let me know what some of yours are, feel free to do so down in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!